ISO 27001, there are actually just 9 policies that are mandated. That is, that they state that you have to have a policy in place. Now, yes, there are organizations out there that will tell you that there are 20, 30, and even more policies which you need for information security. But that's a different topic. That's a different conversation. What I'm saying here are, what are the ISO 27001 mandated policies? There are just 9. So I'm going to show you what those policies are, and then very quickly we'll talk through them. Right out of the gate, you need an information security policy. That's your headline policy, which I often refer to as the overarching policy. Covers your intent and your objectives. You need a clear desk and clear screen policy. Mobile and BYOD, bring your own device. What's your policy on mobile devices, and can people bring their own devices and access the data, your corporate information, personal information through those devices? How are you managing supplier relationships? Do you have an annual review of your suppliers, for instance? Is that your policy? How do you manage them? Teleworking, certainly within the new ISO standard, ISO 27001 2022, that's now thankfully being replaced with remote working. So remote working and teleworking, of course, is what's your policy on allowing people to access your information, personal and corporate, from remote locations, whether that be on trains or whether that be at home, for instance. Certainly during COVID, that became kind of popular for obvious reasons. But what's your policy on it? Access control policy, remembering that your access control policy isn't just about access to systems, it's access to your locations. So how do you manage that? What's your policy around access control? Backup policies state very clearly about, or should state very clearly, your intent around how often backups are performed and what data is backed up. And the last 2, you can actually combine into one policy. So it's no longer 9 policies, you've got 8 policies. This is the way that we often do this, is we have a cryptographic and key management policy, because let's be honest, cryptographic controls and key management are so closely intertwined, then you might as well put them into one policy. Again, makes it simple for people. So there you are. There are the 9 policies, or the 8, depending upon what you do with cryptographic controls. It's no more complex than that. In subsequent videos, we will cover what each of these should look like and how you should structure them. But for now, just recognize and remember that there are only 9 mandatory policies that are required within ISO 27001. Again, for the purist out there, yes, for information security, there could be many, many more. But we can talk about those on another session, because this is about ISO 27001. And I have a real issue with those organizations who are selling ISO 27001 policy packs on the basis that you need these 20 or 30 other policies. They're discretionary, they're non-mandatory. And we'll talk about some of those discretionary documents and indeed those records in another video. But until then, thank you for watching, and remember to like, comment and subscribe, and of course, share. Thank you. See you soon.